Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into ECD Automotive Design's latest financial report, and let's just say things are looking interesting. Almost like a classic car needing a full restoration. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, if you love getting the real story behind company finances, hit that subscribe button. And for a deeper dive into these reports and to chat with fellow enthusiasts, join our Discord community linked in the description. It's the place to be for all things corporate finance. ECD Automotive Design is giving us the quarterly update on their financial health for the period ending June 30, 2025. Think of this as a checkup for the company's engine. First up, let's look at their balance sheet. This is like a snapshot of what the company owns and what it owes. On the asset side, their cash and cash equivalents have dropped significantly from 1.4 million at the end of 2024 to just over 600,000 by June 30, 2025. That's a big chunk of pocket money gone. Their inventories also took a hit, dropping from over 11 million down to about 7.9 million. This could mean they're selling more or perhaps struggling to get parts. Overall, total assets have shrunk from about 18.2 million to 14.3 million. That's a decrease of roughly $4 million. Now for the other side of the coin, liabilities. Total liabilities actually went up slightly from 37.1 million to 37.4 million, while short-term liabilities saw a decrease. Long-term debts like convertible notes jumped from 14 million to over 18 million. This shows the company is taking on more debt, possibly to fund operations or growth. And then we hit the accumulated deficit. That's the total losses the company has made over its lifetime. This grew from a negative 21.5 million to a negative 28.5 million. That's an extra 7 million in losses this period. Ouch. When we look at how the company is performing, this statement of operations tells the story. Good news first, the revenue for the 3 months ended June 30, 2025 was $7 million, a nice increase from 6.4 million in the same period last year, but their cost of goods sold also climbed way up from 4.3 million to 5.6 million. This means their gross profit took a beating. It dropped from $2 million down to 1.3 million. That's a 32% decrease. Imagine you sell a car for a bit more, but it costs you way more to build it. That's essentially what happened here. Their operating expenses also shot up. General and administrative expenses, which includes things like salaries and office costs, jumped from 2.2 million to 3.6 million. That's a 62% increase. They're spending more to keep the lights on. All these increased costs led to a much bigger operating loss. It went from a loss of about $500,000 to a loss of 2.6 million. It's nearly a 5-fold increase in the operating loss. And then there's interest expense. It surged from 1.3 million to 2.1 million. That's a 61% jump, mainly because they took on more debt. All of this, unfortunately, translated into a net loss of $4.2 million for the 3 months ending June 30, 2025. That's more than double the net loss from the same period last year, which was just about $2 million. Looking at the first 6 months of the year tells a similar but even starker story. Revenue stayed pretty flat at about $13.4 million, barely changing from last year. However, their cost of goods sold increased by 4%, while their gross profit dropped by 12%. Operating expenses were up by a massive 51%. This was mainly due to higher general and administrative costs, an inventory write-off of $353,000, and more money spent on stock-based compensation. This all led to a 70% increase in their pre-tax losses, reaching $7.4 million. The net loss for the 6 months was $7 million, a significant jump from 4.8 million last year. Now, here's a really important point. In Note 2, they explicitly state there's substantial doubt about the company's ability to continue as a going concern within the next year. This is a big red flag. It means they might not have enough money to keep operating for the full year, and the financial statements don't include any adjustments to reflect this problem. Think of it as building a fancy car but not having enough fuel to drive it out of the garage. Let's look at their debt. They've got several convertible notes, mostly from Defender SPV LLC. The terms are pretty complex, involving interest rates tied to the prime rate, potential PIK interest, and conversion prices that can adjust. It's a lot of complicated financial engineering. They also have Series B and C preferred stock. Notably, in May and June of 2025, they converted a significant amount of debt into Series B and then Series C preferred stock. This is a common way for companies to manage debt by converting it into equity, though it can dilute existing shareholders. There was a gain of 430 debt to preferred stock, which sounds good, but it's largely due to accounting adjustments related to the company's share price. Under stockholders' equity, we see common stock transactions, including conversions from preferred stock and warrants being exercised, as well as issuances of stock for consulting services. It's a busy mix of corporate actions. Here's something that really caught my eye. Management admits their disclosure controls and procedures were not effective. The reason given is a material weakness in their internal control over financial reporting, particularly with recognition and inventory accounting. They plan to fix this by improving their review process for complex transactions and getting more expert help. This is like a mechanic admitting they're not sure how the engine works, but planning to read the manual. In their related party transactions, we see that ECD Automotive Design uses a transportation company 100% owned by the father of an ECD officer. While they state prices are competitive, it's always something to watch when family members are involved in business dealings. They also mention a food truck vendor owned by the parents of the company's president, secretary, and director. These transactions are small, but they highlight the close-knit nature of the company. Even after the reporting period, there were more financial maneuvers. On July 7, 2025, the lender converted more debt into Series C preferred stock, and on August 13, 2025, they sold more Series C preferred stock at a discount. This shows ongoing efforts to manage their financial situation through equity and debt restructuring. They also discuss key business metrics, specifically adjusted EBITDA. For the 3 months ending June 30, 2025, their adjusted EBITDA was a negative $1.5 million, a huge drop from the positive $27,000 in the same period last year. For the 6 months, it was negative $2.9 million, down from a negative $48,000 last year. This shows the operational performance excluding certain $1,000 in the same period last year. For the 6 months, it was negative $2.9 million, down from a negative $848,000 last year. This shows the operational performance excluding certain $1,000 in the same period last year. For the 6 months, it was negative $2.9 million, down from a negative $848,000 last year. This shows the operational performance excluding certain items is significantly worsening. Looking at the quarterly year-over-year comparison, revenue is up, which is good, but gross profit is down 32%. Operating expenses are up 55% and interest expenses are up 61%. The net loss more than doubled. It's like seeing your car's mileage go up while its resale value plummets. The 6-month comparison shows a similar trend with flat revenue but increased costs, leading to a 44% higher net loss. Now, here's my take on all of this. ECD Automotive Design is in a tough spot. While they're generating revenue and launching new products like the Jaguar E-Type and expanding with Mustangs, their costs are spiraling out of control. The significant increase in operating and interest expenses, coupled with a shrinking gross profit, is eating away at their finances. The admission of a material weakness in their internal controls and the statement about substantial doubt regarding their ability to continue as a going concern are serious concerns. It suggests that financial reporting and management might be as shaky as a vintage car's suspension. They're relying heavily on debt and complex financial instruments to stay afloat, which isn't a sustainable long-term strategy. The company's direction seems to be focused on growth and new markets, but the immediate financial health picture is concerning. They need to find a way to control costs and improve their operational efficiency drastically, or they might face serious trouble down the road. Without better control over expenses and more clarity in their financial reporting, it's hard to see a smooth ride ahead. What do you think of ECD Automotive Design's financial report? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If this deep dive was helpful, smash that like button, subscribe for more corporate breakdowns, and don't forget to join our Discord community for even more insights. Thanks for watching and see you next time.